The first thing I noticed is you're wearing a Venom t-shirt.
Yeah, in honor of my friend Averill, I'm sporting my first and only Phantom shirt.
Yeah, Venom. Very good. Yeah.
Phantom. Yeah,
It's
like
like
I said.
it's like an at war with Satan shirt.
Yeah, it is. It's a very nice one.
There
Very
you go.
nice. I'm trying to be a hipster.
Trying to be a hipster, yeah. Trying to be a hipster. Well, I mean, look, we could do a whole podcast about that called "Trying to Be a Hipster." Couldn't we?
So well, since we are now doing a Thin Lizzy show,
Yeah, that's what this is
uh,
supposed to be. Yeah,
let the audience know that had been there before, but we did go together
yeah,
to fill in its grave one day.
yeah. We did. We did. We went. What? What? About 5 years ago, isn't it?
2017, 18.
Yeah, maybe we can put that as the fucking thumbnail for this thing. But yeah, we went to Fionnuala's grave, and I think people, it's very very understated. It's in Howth, in the north of the city.
Yeah.
It's only really, I mean, it's in the area where I grew up. I mean, it's just down from Sutton Cross. It's just down from Howth and from Baldor, and all that kind of stuff. And it's a very understated grave. But Philomena lived on the road at the top of the graveyard, which is where my grandmother also lived.
His mother. Yeah.
Yeah. So she
You
lived it.
told me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, you told me that when you grew up,
Mm.
you would see that guy
That guy.
when you were like a kid, right?
Yeah, I mean, I said that to few people. Well, when we first started interviews, and I said it to one drunk journalist from Rock Hard magazine, and he was like, "Oh my god!" He kind of started welling up. I was like, "Okay," but look, like his grandmother lived on the same street as my grandmother. Like the graveyard, obviously, where he was buried. All my aunts, my mother knew him. My aunt used to cut his hair in the 70s. She used to work
Your
in,
aunt used to cut Philina's hair.
yeah, there was a shop, I can't remember the name of it, off Grafton Street. And it was like one of the kind of early cool kid hipster shops. And I think it was a music record shop and a hairdresser's and a clothes, like a clothes boutique, you know?
Yeah.
And she used to work there, and she used to cut his hair, and like, so all this, my mother and her sisters knew him, but you'd see him like down at the shops, or like I remember, and I said that people go, "Oh, that's not true," but like I remember being a kid. There's like this waste ground in front of the train station, which is just right where I live, and I remember that's where we used to hang out and kick a football, and you'd see Phil come down. All right, lads, and he, kick a football back and forth a few times before going into the train station. But obviously, he had to come down to go to the train station, and it was, you'd see him around, like wandering around. I think most people in Dublin in the late 70s and early 80s. I mean, he was just, if he wasn't, I guess, on tour, he was a fixture of walking around the
So
city.
sorry. If this is when you're a kid, so I'm guessing it's around when you were like 10.
No, I mean, it would have been 83, maybe.
83, so he's already famous.
Yeah, yeah, he's famous. No, I mean, he was famous in the 70s. So, like, I mean, I was 8 in 83, and I have memories of seeing Phil wandering around and going, "All right, lads," and you know what I mean, because everybody knew
Yeah.
who Phil was, obviously. You know,
I mean, he was. There's always a Rory, but there was no U2 when Phil became famous. I mean,
no,
so
you
there was
two,
yeah.
yeah, you two was famous by 83 for sure. You've got Unforgettable Fire and stuff, and I mean, well, I mean, Phil was obviously he's like the most famous rock star from Ireland, and this 6'3" black guy with an afro. So he's like,
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's a black guy with afro mustache and leather pants
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in
but
fucking Ireland.
more Dublin than almost anybody you could imagine, but it's yeah, I mean, of course you notice him as a kid, but um, not, everybody knew Thin Lizzy and knew, of course, Phil, and he was I guess if I'd been a teenager, then he would have been a staple. If you would have seen him drinking in pubs in Hove or drinking in pubs in town, and I mean, that's just you would have seen him walking around doing
I mean,
his thing,
do you I mean, we're not gonna talk about this too much, but I mean, of course, he was a famous guy. One thing, he's a famous rocker at that time. I mean, talking 70s, that's like Led Zeppelin is still active and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But he was a black guy in Ireland, and there were not many black guys in Ireland. Do you think? I mean, could he go to the pub
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
without being harassed? I mean, was
Oh,
there racism going on, or?
I think so. I mean, in as much as talking to, reading, or watching interviews with him at the time, I think he seemed to have experienced more racism when he went to England. I think in Ireland he was so. I mean, everybody he was so famous by the '70s, and I mean, look, I can't really talk completely to it, but at least anecdotally, for what I knew of people at the time, I don't think Ireland was as um, let's say riven by racial tension as maybe the UK was, the United Kingdom in the '70s. You know, we didn't have any National Front type stuff, and I think in general Irish people saw them. I've always seen themselves as sort of like underdogs, as you know, we were colonialized, we were oppressed, we were whatever, and the idea that we would, and this is a very very broad stroke because of course there's got to be dickheads everywhere, but the idea that we would somehow be racist, I think, in a very broad stroke. Now, of course, there's probably somebody in the comments going, "No way, 1976." Like, okay, okay, I'm the guy I wasn't born. Well, I was one then. He talks mostly about, obviously being very aware of it, but not experiencing that much of it. But then again,
Yeah.
he made this record, I think, solo in Soho,
Mm-hmm.
and that was, I think, I remember reading interviews, going back and reading interviews, and he talked about that was some of the first times he was got very into sort of the sort of consciousness of, I suppose, black politics at the time, or whatever that means. And that album sort of represented his step into that. Maybe again, maybe that's misinformation, but
Yeah.
it definitely, for sure, can't have been easy. But by all accounts, he was a man who was well able to fight his way out of any argument. I mean, that's one
Sure.
thing you hear about him again and again, that he was willing to, stand up for himself with his fists. And I think, by all accounts, that it got more pronounced when he went to London, because he was, no
Sure.
dogs, no backs, no Irish. He was too
Yeah. Yeah.
adult.
I mean, they hated, of course,
Yeah,
even white Irish people.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I couldn't speak to it completely. People would have to go back and watch interviews with him, but I don't think it was the sense I get that he was a much. And speaking to my aunts and speaking to other people who knew him, because don't forget, like, lots of my family are from the same area. They would have had, like, my uncle drank with him in the early '70s, and my uncle, who just spent a bunch of days with, drank with him in the '70s and stuff, and they were all, and you hear nothing but anecdotally
Yeah.
hilarious stories and good humor. And I never,
Yeah.
they don't say anything about, oh, this one time this guy said this, and that kind of thing. So
Well, I did, since I mentioned the graveyard. Well, I had heard that, I knew that his mom lived right around the block, and she would visit his grave every day.
yeah, yeah,
And so before that, uh, was it the same time? I don't know. We were playing Dublin once. Solstafir
yeah,
were playing Dublin, and being the Thin Lizzy fan, I would saying, love Thin Lizzy, blah blah blah, and been inspired by Phil Lynott, love Phil Lynott, and I would like to dedicate the song to the great late Phil Lynott.
yeah, yeah,
And we play Fiara and all that stuff. And anyway, so day after, I get a Facebook email message from a random attendant, a girl that was at the gig. She says, "Hey, I was at your show yesterday in Dublin. Loved the show. Uh, I happen to know Philomena, Phil Lynnott's mom. I told her I was at a rock concert last night, and this lovely Icelandic lads were paying respect to your
yeah,
son,
yeah, yeah.
and apparently Philomena loved it. So she said, "Oh, that's lovely. Tell them they're invited to tea next time they're in Dublin."
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, like, there's a very great American heavy metal band called Argus, really, really good band. And this is maybe 10 or 12 years ago. Actually, maybe it's more, maybe it's 2010 or 11. And they all went to visit Phil's grave. And I know Philomena happened to come down and invited him up to the house for tea. And she even let the drummer play his drum kit, which was set up in the room.
So when I was there with you, I was too shy to go find her house.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know exactly where her house is, but I think the time when we were there, maybe she was getting pretty old. I'm not sure if she still came down every day.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I know at least 15, 20 people who've been in her house for tea and have been in Phil's room. And like she let the
Fucking
Irish
hell.
guy play his drums, and he came back to the gig that evening, and
Yeah.
he was just like literally like just in awe and shock, you know. But that's what she made. I mean, she was always around or coming down and meeting people who would have come to the grave for a pilgrimage. You know, it's sort of unlucky that I guess at the day we went. I mean,
Yeah.
she would have been pretty old then, I guess. But yeah,
Okay. So, brief introduction to Phil Lynnott's life here.
yeah. I mean, the thing about it is that if you think about it, he's got to be one of the most iconic rock stars, like whoever lived. I mean, to be this huge, tall black guy with an afro playing like metal, rock, and also lots of other things as well. But in a distinctly sort of white man's world of rock and metal, whatever. It's and from Dublin and from Ireland. I mean, add them all up, and it's like an incredible
Yeah,
sequence.
I mean, this is a
Consequence,
minority, like, it's a crazy minority group.
yeah. And there he is. I mean, as we're going to discuss, writing songs with some of the greatest rock songs of all time. Um, you know,
So tell me, when you different, when you're growing up, are you guys listening to Thin Lizzy, or is it just the boys are back in town? Or because I know that you guys did not grow up with loving the first two, three. I'm talking about the Primordial gang. You
yeah.
didn't really love the first two, three Thin Lizzy albums. You would be
Um,
more like into later heavy metal, or
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, well, I mean, if Kieran was sitting here, he'd talk about the first three, how much he loves them, uh,
okay.
and like, but I mean, the problem wasn't the problem for me growing up. I had a bunch of friends who were much more into Lizzie. They had a Lizzie covers band, and there was a kind of that sort of early teenage tension of, well, no, I like this, I like this, I like the other, and we were sort of. I was trying to start maybe a thrash metal band or whatever. And so there's always that thing of when you're a teenager, which is like, you know, you sort of don't want to check out all the things that your friends that you're are sort of, wagging their finger and telling you, oh, Slayer shit, listen to Vagabonds of the Western World. And I was like, no, you know what? Fuck that. I want to listen to Hell Awaits. And actually, the same is still true. In that,
Yeah.
um,
You're saying it was too close and popular and commercial to listen
no,
to
no,
love
not.
Thin Lizzy?
I don't think that at all. I don't think that at all. I mean, the Lizzie I would have grown up with was, of course, Live and Dangerous,
Yeah.
and the sort of late '70s, early '80s. That would have been the odd vinyl that nestled in among myself. But I would just happen to be much more into Judas Priest and Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden and stuff. So the first three records were kind of a mystery to me. In fact, all this morning I've been listening to them, swatting up for this test.
Yeah.
And they're it's very much like they don't speak to me much.
Yeah.
Although they are occasionally absolutely brilliant, but they seem to me very much sit alongside where UFO were in the beginning, where Deep Purple were in the beginning, where Status Quo were in the beginning. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before they found their sort of rock feet, their rock sea legs, and that there's an awful lot of, I mean, at least for Lizzie, this sort of Irish mysticism, this sort of Van Morrison, Astral Weeks, sort of there's funk, there's soul. Phil stretches his voice in ways that he seemed to kind of curtail when it got
Yeah.
more rock. Um,
I mean, I agree with this. So let's dive into the first one. I mean,
okay.
I have only the first two on CDs. I bought them in great record store in Copenhagen.
Hey, look at that. Wow.
Accord. It's a great record store in Copenhagen. I bought both of them, the CDs here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I have these two on CDs. I buy this. I mean, when I started sort of going into the past of Thin Lizzy. So I I agree with you. I think this is like the first Book of Talisman, the purple stuff. It's
Yeah,
even
yeah.
like 80s Pantera stuff before Cowboys. I mean, they are becoming what they became. They are not there yet.
Yeah. I think you could say the same for Status Quo when they were the
I
first
don't
two.
know. Sorry, I know nothing about Status Quo.
The first Pictures of Matchstick Men or the '60s Status Quo. where there's a bit more Beatles, there's a bit more sort of like,
Yeah.
they've all got mod haircuts and they're wearing like matching tunics. And it's before they found the denim and denim. You know what I mean? And UFO, the first two UFO are very similar as well. They're kind of like experimental, psychedelic, kind of like garage.
But this is, I mean, this is 1972 and 1971. I mean,
yeah,
the Beatles are still, I mean, going on in 1971, or did they quit in 1970? I don't know.
yeah,
So it's a long time ago. I mean, there was a different world to 1971. Well, Zeppelin do the first in what, 70, 69.
69. Yeah. Well, I mean, that first album, and what? I mean, it doesn't really have a hit, does it? I mean, or what the label was? Is it the band? The band then moved to London that year. I mean, see, here's the thing: is like the Friendly Ranger at Clontarf Castle. Clontarf Castle is literally the castle just before the graveyard we went to. You know what I mean? Like that's what we used to go drinking. Like I put up a photo on Instagram of me in corpse paint in like '93 or something with a fucking stick on fire. That was taken to Clontarf Castle. So,
but can you imagine if the band would have broken up after these two albums?
yeah,
I mean, the legacy wouldn't be there.
They just wouldn't remember it as a kind of. There's a strange kind of sort of. I'm not going to say whimsical is not the right word, but a sort of Yeatsian post sort of Van Morrison-y kind of fascination with Irish and Irish mysticism. That's sort of an Irish traditional music which permeates these. And at the time, of course, when I was a kid, I mean, everything had to be like Slayer or faster. And I was just like, I just didn't have the patience to sit through this when I was 13 or 12, you know?
No, I mean, to me, I mean, I love this band, but this is just not interesting enough.
No.
And I remember because we planned this show here, about Thin Lizzy, more than a year ago. So when I was diving into more of these albums, I was listening to podcasts about, and there was one guy that thought that this was the first album was the best, and I was like, "Are you fucking serious?"
Yeah.
So I mean, there are some people that really love this stuff.
Oh, I mean, there are people in Ireland who wouldn't even count Thunder and Lightning as proper Thin Lizzy, like, you know what I mean? There are people who from that early 70s generation, and they preferred this, that there was a whistle bit and that there was acoustic guitars. And I mean, I get it. And also there is some beautiful sounds and tones and textures on these records every now and again.
Sure.
You know, they kind of go the spoken word bits, but there are some. I mean, we go to the Shades of Blue Orphanage when you've got an early version of Sarah on there, but you've also got the Whiskey in the Jar. I mean, that's kind of what made the band.
No, sorry, Whiskey in the Jar. It doesn't arrive already, man. That arrives on the third album.
Really, because it's on the deluxe version of Shades here.
Yeah, easy, Tiger. We're not doing the deluxe versions.
Oh yeah, see, it's not on the original version in '72.
No. It arrives on the third album. Well, that's a different.
Sure.
I'm not gonna say. I mean, obviously, I think these are like siblings. The first two here.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it's just like I don't want to forget how to jive. You know, Buffalo Gal, Babyface, Chatting Today, Call the Police. I mean, yeah, okay, but
okay. Yeah. So,
and
shall
then
we go to the next one?
Vagabonds, the Western World. So this is 73.
Okay, I'm excited here. Hold on, give me a second.
Yeah, I should have got my vinyls out as well, but we can use your
my version here. I'm not gonna show them all here.
Yeah.
My version of Vagabonds of the Western World. Original copy.
Oh yeah.
Check this out. What does that say?
Irish Tour, Christmas '73. Wow, what's in the back of it? Looks amazing.
It's a sticker.
Wow, cool.
Original copy, dude.
The artwork is incredible. See, here's where everything began to sink into place. I mean, the first two, the artwork and the aesthetic, I don't really understand at all. But if you saw
I mean, this is original copy that I bought in Camden.
Oh yeah.
I think I paid a lot of money for this, but this is 1973. Decca Records.
Decca were going to drop them apparently, and then this album did okay for them. I so it says on Wikipedia, but it's
So here they are not heavy metal band yet, of course.
No. I mean,
but
some people they never. Yeah. I mean, this is where it begins to come into it begins to come into shape, you know.
But this is still with Eric Bell.
Yeah, yeah,
So Eric Bell was, of course, a founding member along with Brian and Phil.
yeah.
This album I bought on CD many, many, many years ago, and I listened to it in my Toyota like 9,000 times. So this is sort of the album that got me in love with Lizzy. I mean, Boys Are Back in Town is just like listening to only Ace of Spades and calling
So,
yourself a Motorhead fan.
so just to put this into context, I'm just looking at Wikipedia. This is what it says. In late 1972, the band embarked upon a high-profile tour of the UK with Slade and Susie Quattro. And around the same time, Decca released Thin Lizzy's version of a traditional Irish ballad, Whiskey in the Jar, as a single. The band didn't consent to it. They weren't angry at the release, but feeling the song did not represent their sound or image. So it seems that Whiskey in the Jar came out between.
Yeah,
Like,
this is sorry because on the CD that's not being true to my words here. Whiskey in the Jar is not on this album.
yeah.
It's on the CD. It's on the because this only had like 8. This only has 8 songs.
So
it comes on the CD.
yeah. So but what I mean is that they must have recorded it as a version before this album, and then the label were sitting on it, and I went, you know what, chuck this out, and that became the hit, and the band got pissed off with that. So the first recording of Whiskey in the Jar is before that. My friend Dennis is going to be watching this, and he's going to be like, no, 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 no. But come on, Dennis.
So the point is, Whiskey in the Jar ain't recorded for a album.
No, that I don't think it is. I mean, apparently it has no bass either.
No, there's no bass in it. There's only guitars and
yeah.
So I mean, which makes this album even more weird, or dare I say hitless album, because it doesn't have a super hit. Because I mean, I love these songs. I mean, Mama Nature Sad, Hero and the Madman. I mean, all this Tora Loda, this very Irish, still very folk Irish things in it.
Yeah, it's got some great songs. It's also still got this. I mean, it's got the rocker on it, you know, which is like the.
Sure.
And it's still got an awful lot of soul and funk and these sort of acousticy ballady type songs, which I think were just not really clicking with the rock audience. You know, look at that.
Rockers.
Yeah.
This is the best of album. So it doesn't really. I just had to buy it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you have to buy it for the cover. I mean, that's alone, you know.
Yeah, so I mean, I really love this album, but we're still not there yet. I mean, there's so much more stuff.
And it's very interesting, and if you think about it, the bands back then were given a couple of albums to get to the point where they could be something a label could work with. They were kind of grown, because all those bands, Priest as well. I mean, look at the first Priest record, Rock and Roll. I mean, what's that really? Not really fully.
Rock and Roll isn't really metal, Priest. No.
So you've got same with Purple, same with UFO, same with lots of bands. They were given time to develop, that just sort of got cut shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. You know.
But they have found their artwork guy here, because this is the same guy that did Jailbreak and other albums.
Yeah.
This is an amazing album cover.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I mean, if you saw that in the record store, you'd be like, "What the fuck? Look at that! It is amazing."
So
I have to tell you, we should mention him, by the way, Jim Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, exactly. Jim Fitzpatrick. It even says here.
Yeah, and he lived around the corner from my parents as well. In fact, he sent me an email once saying that he was aware of Primordial. Like,
is he still alive?
He's still alive. Yeah. This was about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and I thought, I wonder, could we get him for an album cover? And then
why haven't you?
Because it doesn't really fit. But but also it was just at the moment where Dark Throne managed to nab him for one of the records. Was it Underground Resistance or something, or Circle the Wagons?
Did they get him for that? Okay.
I think so. There's one with a warrior with a sword, which is Jim Fitzpatrick, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, I know. But then it's so you buy album 4, 74, Nightlife.
I mean, okay. I'm just gonna say I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's because I think Vagabonds is a great album, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Yeah, you do the vinyls, because you have more vinyls of Lizzy than me, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, Nightlife is here.
Okay.
this is the first album as a
A four-piece, yeah, with twin
four-piece band.
guitars.
Look at that white dress, man.
Yeah, only he could
The,
pull that off. First. Well,
the
Lemmy
look,
could pull that off, but yeah.
the look, the part here. I
But
mean,
it's not until you get to Shalala at the end.
is this the first album with the iconic logo as well?
It looks like it, yeah.
Yeah.
The more heavy metal logo. But like this record, I agree with you. Like Philomena, Frankie Carroll, she knows as an opener. I mean, it's okay. Shalala is quite hard at the end. Shalala is the like there's the made the best.
Yeah, I mean, I think okay. Still in Love with You. I like that one.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Maybe the best song here. But I mean, here we have, of course, Brian Robertson.
Yeah.
The arrival of Brian Robertson.
Yeah. So Bell quits.
Bell quits after 3 albums, and you get sort of. So this is sort of the first. Let me dare say classic lineup. I mean, Bell can't be. It's weird that he's not in the classic lineup because he was a founding member, did 3 albums, but having Robertson or Scott Coram, I mean, Scott Coram's got to be, a classic.
Listen to this, right? So, according to Wikipedia, they secured a deal with Phonogram. The resulting album, Nightlife, was a disappointment for the band due to its soft production and underdeveloped style. Robertson described Ron Nevison's production as naff, and Gorham said the record was ridiculously tame. So it seems to me that the engineer, producer, really tried to move the band into a kind of soul-y pop direction. You can hear it on the record. The record is missing some edge. You get it at Shalala at the end, but it sounds like almost recorded from a different session, you know?
This is Jim Fitzpatrick as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
But I mean, this is a great album cover. And I mean, this is the artwork and the photography and the logo and everything, the haircuts, the dresses, it looks killer, but it's not a killer album. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. It's not at all. It's not. So realistically, I mean, we can push on to Fighting, which is a weird cover. You probably have Fighting there, so do you?
Yeah, Fighting has. So I'm not sure what is the original, but I have, of course, this one.
Yeah.
I mean, I adore this album.
Yeah. Well, the original Fighting, Phil's got his hands up with a kind of metal bar like this, you know.
Yeah. So that's the original one.
When we go to the break, I might find mine somewhere. But
so this is not the original.
Maybe it could be because the cover has changed from region to region, you know. But this here.
So this here, sorry, is produced by Phil Lynott.
Interesting, and it's a big. This is where they begin to feel really like a band with a bit of. I mean, this is full of bangers, you know.
I mean, you have Rosalie here. Of course, it's a Bob Seger song.
Which I don't. I mean, start your album with a Bob Seger cover. Well,
it's kind of it's like Mexican radio.
Well, but Bob Seger's the Bob Seger song must be only from 71, 72. So they're covering a song that's only 2 or 3 years old.
That's even more weird.
Yeah, I mean it's a good song.
But and then of course they have one of my favorite songs, For Those Who Love to Live.
Yeah.
Of course, it's
about Suicide's a stone cold.
It's about what's his name again? The United guy. The football guy. What's his name?
Oh, George Best.
It's about George Best. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've seen the pictures of them all hanging out together because I think Philomena had a hotel near Manchester, and he used to be there drinking, kind of den. And you see pictures of like Lemmy hanging out there, Tony Iommi, George Best, all sorts of like 70s.
But here, it's funny because the only song that's written by Downey here is For Those Who Love to Live. And maybe did the lyrics, we don't know. But you can hear, I mean, it's the vice versa, of course, but you can hear Metallica here in Tennessee. Yeah. For Those Who Love to Live. Cool, trademark, iconic twin guitars in a cool way have arrived here.
Yeah.
So this is where it's starting to happen.
Yeah, and the weird thing is there are twin guitars on on that nightlife. You know what I mean? But they don't, because rock and roll is 75. So it's like Lizzie's is first, but it's like they didn't make their mark properly with life when it comes to the twin guitar thing. It's only really coming into full.
Yeah, but you know, but doing it in a cool way. I mean, this is here. It is, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
But,
else
you
is
know,
on? What else is on here? I mean, King's
for
Vengeance.
those who love to live, Suicide is great. The Wild One, Finding My Way Back, King's Vengeance. Still with dog. I mean, there are some songs that ain't masterpieces here. I'll admit that, but I really, really, really like this album. One
Okay.
of my favorites. One of my favorites.
On that note, let me stop this, and I'll send you the link to the next one. That's okay, because Zoom is going to disappear now in a second. Hang on.
Okay. Where are you sending that?
I'll send it to your. God, it's on its. Sorry, it's right in the middle of the fucking thing. Okay, so my version of fighting has the iron bar.
Oh yeah, you have it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one do you think looks cooler? They both look cool, actually. This one is.
I don't know.
I think this one is more iconic, though, eh?
There's more hippie stuff on mine.
Yeah, yours is more hippie stuff, definitely.
Yeah.
How fucking cool does Phil look on that, though? He looks fucking.
Hold on, but you have the same 10 songs, right?
Let me put my fucking glasses on again. Yeah, same time as. Look at the back cover, man. That's fucking. Now that's pretty fucking remote.
Ah, that's better. Yours is better because this is a bad photo here and some individual photos here. I think yours is actually cooler.
Yeah.
But you have the same 10 songs, right? Starting with Rosalie and ending with Ballad of a Hard Man.
Yeah, they look like a fucking heavy metal Ramones here. Look, they look cool as fuck.
Exactly, very Ramonesy.
Yeah, yeah. So this is
mine is more like the Jimi Hendrix experience.
Certainly, yeah. This is not an original one though. This is like a 1980 or something. But anyway, yeah. So Rosalie, what a weird way to start off with. Anyway,
Rosalie.
Yeah, I mean it's brilliant, but it's
even Motorhead covered it later.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. Yeah, yeah. So it's now we get to Jailbreak.
It's Jailbreak already.
Yeah, it is, right?
No.
Johnny the
Fox.
Okay.
Johnny the Fox is I don't know. Some friends of mine adore that album.
It is great. It's a classic record. I mean, Massacre. This is when they really.
Sorry. Yeah, I agree. Massacre, one of the best songs ever.
Yeah, and that could be. This is proper. This is a heavy metal song, Massacre. You know.
You have the same. You know, right?
Yeah, mine looks a little bit darker. Is yours gatefold?
No. Show me the back.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, incredible artwork. It's just fucking amazing, isn't it? Jim Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I think it's the same. This is totally the same.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Vertigo.
But I mean, look, Johnny, Rocky, borderline. Don't believe a word of course.
Don't believe a word is amazing.
Yeah.
Fool's Gold. I love that.
Yeah.
Massacre, one of the best songs ever.
Yeah.
There is some. So I had a VHS. I can't remember what's the original. It was an original, official, live Thin Lizzy live on VHS. I can't remember where it was from, but the song that I remember was Massacre.
Yeah.
So it was on the set list.
Yeah.
The live version of Massacre that VHS, just goosebumps stuff.
Yeah, it's incredible, and it's heavy metal. I mean, Massacre's heavy metal. I think I see. Again, here's the story. I always used to argue this with my friends back when we were kids. I'd always go, Thin Lizzy doesn't have a Highway to Hell, and it's because of songs. No. It's because of songs like Sweet Marie. It's like, guys.
Sure, yeah. They're always flirting with the folk.
Funk, folk, soul.
Yeah, sort of flirting with them. Iron Maiden didn't flirt with folk music.
Well, let's pick a film of 70s contemporary like Purple or AC/DC. Sometimes, I mean, it's like Lizzy always had a tiny bit of kind of like, you can tell, like maybe kind of cocaine ideas in the studio. They're like, let's do that. And somebody didn't go, I don't know about that. Maybe. But there was always flirting a bit with funk soul, as if there would be some
Sure.
crossover, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And the songs sometimes
Maybe that's what makes them so great, because this is a very original band.
yeah, no, you're right actually, and that would have been lost on me when I was 16, arguing that Highway to Hell is better. But not, but that you say it's part of the sort of rich tapestry of Lizzy that makes them so different from everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I guess it's just that for me, the songs resonate a bit less with me.
But even funny, we agree with this. But this massacre,
Yeah.
I mean, that's
So yeah, it's the first real. I mean, they're really coming into a really big Purple period here. This is the great. I mean, I think the greatest period of the band. Obviously.
What do you mean? I mean, Thin Lizzy.
No, they've really found their kind of feet now as a proper band, I think.
Yeah, here they are up there doing. I mean, okay, we have Fighting, which is they're still here. I mean, they're going up.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Sort of,
let's see what Wikipedia says. Well, when do we get to Boys Are Back in Town? Well, that's not.
That's next album, dude.
The next album, yeah, okay. A successful multi-band tour in support of status quo. Opening with Seeger's Rosalie. The Wikipedia says the album showed the first real evidence of the twin guitar sound that would lead the band towards. Yeah, okay.
Well, are you talking about Johnny the Fox?
Yeah, this is Wikipedia that's speaking now.
Yeah, but like we spoke about, you can hear it more clearly a little bit before on Fighting.
It reached number 60 in the UK album charts, and the singles did not chart. Okay.
Because there's no Boys Are Back in Town or Jailbreak here.
Boys Are Back in Town is the song that, saved the band. Well, not saved the band, but broke the band, I guess,
But then again, Boys Are Back in Town almost didn't end up on the album.
Yeah, no, they didn't think it was the right song.
No, they didn't think it was a good song.
No, which is absolutely insane. Don't Believe a Word on Celtic mythology. Okay, I don't think this is Wikipedia. I don't think Don't Believe a Word is about Celtic mythology. Sorry, Wikipedia. But touring, even though they weren't breaking through in album sales and a hit single, they were becoming a band that was pulling people on tour.
But at this time, I mean, I remember I have the book here somewhere about Phil Lynott. He was heavily into drugs at that point.
Yeah.
And he was doing a lot of partying, and I think maybe around this time of the next tour, it would say that they would be in America and he would be, partying till 5, 6 in the morning every day, and his health became worse.
Yeah.
Became sick on tour, tours being cancelled. All that sort of reality hit them. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you reading there?
I'm just trying to get things. See, it's weird. Like, Bad Reputation is a record that I always thought was earlier in the canon because I wasn't really paying as much attention. But anyway, we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, it's all hinging really on Boys Are Back in Town and this, really, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, then again, what do you think? I mean, okay, I like to use the metaphor. Hold on, where's my Jailbreak? It's not here. Great.
Has to be.
No, I have it on CD somewhere.
But this though, you've seen this, of course, right? This,
oh yeah, I don't know on this version.
How cool is that?
But this, okay, let me put it this way. I mean, if you remove Ace of Spades from the Ace of Spades album, I still think it's a 10 out of 10 album. Amazing album.
I agree with you.
If you remove Boys Are Back in Town from this album,
yeah,
what do you think about it?
Well, let's have a look through the songs. Yeah, this is I mean, again, but how cool is this? When you open it out and you see there's fucking aliens, fucking
Yeah.
swords.
This is a little bit like Kiss. You think about it, because
Yeah,
they're superheroes there.
yeah, it's a bit 70s cartoons vibe in it. Well, okay, but I mean, the song Jailbreak is a Stone Cold classic, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Angel from the Coast. I do actually love that song. Running Back,
Well,
Romeo and the Lonely Girl again speaks to the kind of diversity you're talking about.
yeah.
Didn't appeal to me when I was a
It's
kid.
another Sarah almost.
Yeah. Warriors, great. Boys Are Back in Town, what can you say? Fight or Fall, great cowboy song. Emerald, yeah.
Cowboy Song is amazing. I love Cowboy Song was pushed as a single of this album.
Yeah, it's Emerald finishing off. Goddamn. And Emerald is the only one that's written by all of them.
So Cowboy Song, Emerald are two of the highlights here, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Well, Jailbreak and The Boys Are Back in Town, of course, sort of the radio friendly ones.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Okay, so the end of side one, I could, yeah. But having said that, Angel from the Coast, it's the jailbreak. The warrior locked himself into his video scanner and gazed through the universe until he came up upon Dimension 5.
This is very, very much Kiss.
The story at the back. But yet, it's interesting. Emerald is the only one that has a co-write with all of them. Other than that, it's just Lynott, and then one song, Lynott, Robertson, Angel from the Coast.
Who wrote Boys Are Back in Town? Did he write it up by himself?
Just Lynott. That's what it says.
Okay.
So he wrote all the songs except the final song with Emerald, which you can hear has some drum writing influence.
Yeah.
And that's the blueprint for folk metal if you want it right there.
Would you say this is the best album? I mean, it's not Back in Black or Highway to Hell.
No.
It's,
That's really hard to say. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
Okay, have you got Bad Reputation on vinyl there? I only have it on CD.
I have it here.
Okay.
Bad Reputation.
See, in my head, I had Bad Reputation before this.
This is.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
This is funny. This is from a store in Göteborg.
Oh, yeah? Gothenburg. Wow. So Bad Reputation is 77. They're back to a 3-piece.
Well, this is so funny because, it's recorded as a 3-piece, but they're 4 in the back.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
That's strange. So who's on the back? Is Robertson on the back?
I think Robertson is out of the band. He's not here.
Yeah. No.
This is some Robertson in and out stuff because, like we know, there were so many. We haven't really gone, well, so since we spoke about them being a 4-piece, let's not forget about the guitar stuff in and out. So from Nightlife, it's Brian Robertson and Scott Coram, right?
That's
and that stays on Fighting. It stays on Johnny the Fox. It stays on Jailbreak, Robertson and Coram, right?
Okay, so here's what happened. An important U.S. tour, December '76. Brian Robertson injured his hand when they broke a bottle in a fight. He said he wasn't drunk. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right. That he just went there to get a meal. Lynott was angry and replaced Robertson with Gary Moore for the tour.
Yeah, on the tour.
We're supporting Queen.
Can you imagine that Thin Lizzy supporting Queen?
Yeah, and there's some shows with AC/DC as well in the States. Imagine that.
So obviously he's not on this album. Well, okay, sorry. It says here that he is the bad guys. It says here, the bad guys.
Right.
It says here that he's in the band, but he's not on the cover. I mean,
very strange. Also, I think the cover is a kind of regression. To me, the cover looks like an early 70s cover, considering where the artwork was going. You know, that's maybe why in my head I thought it was... Because it looks to me like Free or something, you know? Or...
Yeah. But he doesn't... I mean, Brian Robertson wasn't really the main songwriter here.
No. And that's when he gets... Then he gets sacked. And Moore stays on, you know?
So, because the next album next album has Gary Moore.
Well, let's look at Bad Reputation. What's on Bad Reputation? I mean, you got the title track, which is a fucking stone cold killer.
Okay, sorry. Side one is Soldier of Fortune. Great
Yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Bad Reputation.
Yeah.
Great song.
Stone Cold.
Opium Trail. Good song.
Yeah.
Southbound. Love it.
Yeah.
Side 2 is one of the best songs ever with the most iconic bass lines ever. Dancing in the Moonlight.
Yeah.
And talk about being a diverse band.
Mm.
Dancing in the Moonlight. It's crazy. Even the Smashing Pumpkins covered it.
Yeah. I knew you'd get them in somewhere.
Yeah, we have put Metallica in it already.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a song that when I was a kid I was like, ugh, come on. But
exactly. You didn't understand it.
No, now you see what a genius song it is, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it is genius. Killer Without a Cause is one of my favorite deep cuts, Lizzie Deep Cuts. That's a great song.
Yeah.
Downtown Sundown, yeah. Dear Lord, this woman's gonna break your heart again. That's
amazing song.
Good song, yeah. It's a great song.
It's a great song.
This is a fucking killer of a record.
It's a really good album. This is a really, really good album.
And it's one that I think when I was a kid went under my radar, and I don't know why. Really don't know why.
Because you were listening to Venom and Bathory.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. But even when I was still listening to stuff like this, but it's just maybe I just was too angry to understand it properly, you know, or too
probably
whatever, you know.
But so
I only like Eternal War.
This is the last album, well, with or without Robertson.
Yeah, he's literally sacked then after his.
So he doesn't come back. So he's sacked.
Yeah.
This is the last album where he's, you know.
And then we get to, I guess, the album the.
Well, we're not doing. Sorry for interrupting. We're not doing live albums here, right? Are we doing it? Okay, we can do that. Okay.
You can't really ignore it, you know. I mean, it's one of the most, perhaps the greatest live album ever made. So you can't really ignore it, and it's also the one that most people know or have, or it kind of beautifully captures all the previous years and puts them together. Even though apparently some of it isn't exactly live, but I mean, you know,
I have a very not a fancy version, but it's
okay,
very new version.
Mine is original one.
Let me see the gatefold of yours. Same.
Yeah, and the inner sleeve has also pictures in mine. Have you got that?
Oh la la! See.
Oh, look at that! Wow.
I don't. Well, maybe I'm hoping this is the photo of the original.
Must be. That's not in my one. My one just has more pictures of the band.
It says here the tape was baked in May '98. So they took the tape and baked it, and probably redid this. Okay.
I mean, it's just this is the one that if you didn't have the time, or you know, you weren't sure where to start with this 1970s, this just kind of, just like Unleashed in the East, for people who didn't want to go into all 70s.
Live After Death or Kiss Alive, or
it was a very big thing in the 70s and 80s, which was to kind of scoop up a band's 3 or 4 album career, making it into one great live records, kind of hits, you know.
So let's, because this is sort of the proper best one here.
Yeah.
Side 1, Jailbreak, Emerald, Southbound Rosalie, okay?
Yeah.
Side 2, Dancing in the Moonlight, Massacre, Still in Love with You, Johnny the Fox, amazing. Side 3, Cowboy Song, The Boys Are Back in Town, Don't Believe a Word, Warrior, Are You Ready?
Yeah.
Side 4, Suicide, Shalala, Baby Drives Me Crazy. Where's that from again?
I had to cover it. Oh no, it's not. Baby Drives Me Crazy.
No, it's their own song, but even co-written by Brian Robertson.
Well, it must be from '76 somewhere then, yeah.
Yeah, and then the end on the rocker.
Yeah.
Okay, but this is a great, great set list.
I mean, you can't. It's just hard to beat, really, isn't it?
So, I mean, this is among the Unleashed in the East, Kiss Alive, Live After Death, Made in Japan.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's maybe even. I mean, the only live record that I, from that sort of period, I mean, I prefer If You Want Blood, You Got It, the AC/DC one, is fucking,
Sure.
is storming. But this is, I mean, this is arguably, like, if you were to just own this, it might be
Okay. Sorry.
greatest
Do we
compilation of songs ever, you know? Like,
do we know?
that's how you write a
Yeah.
set list, you know?
Do we know how much is fake on this?
Um,
Because as you know,
yeah.
even parts on Let It Be, If You Want Blood is fake.
Mm.
Kiss Alive is totally fake.
Is it?
Kiss Alive.
Yeah, well, I don't know really anything about it.
It's completely fake.
Okay.
It's almost like Live on Dead.
Live in the Raw by Wasp. Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely. I think I don't know how much fake is on Made in Japan, but I don't know.
I mean, I know Unleashed in the East they had to replace the vocals because Rob had flu, but everything else is supposed to be okay. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've heard
very likely it's.
I've heard bits of this, but then again, maybe that's just what bands did to just. That's why
I
they.
think that's what bands did. It's a 2-in-1. It's a best of album and live. It's a product itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, the AC/DC did make a live video at the time, and it's almost exactly the same as If You Want Blood, You Got It. You know, that Paris show '79.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but the track list, that's how you do a track list. If you're.
But isn't If You Want Blood, You Got It from the Glasgow show?
It is, yeah. The Glasgow show is online as well, yeah. So.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway, so now.
At 78. This is what really makes them, it just blows them up. That Boys Are Back in Town and Live and Dangerous are really, you know.
So apparently.
Okay, hang on. Oh, according to Wikipedia, there is some disagreement over just how much of the album is actually recorded live. Producer Tony Visconti claimed that the only parts that were not overdubbed were the drums and the audience. Wow. However, Brian Robson has disputed this, saying that he had refused Linus' request to re-record a guitar solo and that the only overdubs were backing vocals and some guitar parts by Gorham. He says it's not true. He says it's bollocks. Gorham concurs, stating that he attempted to re-record a solo but did not recreate the live sound. Gorham says he redid one rhythm track and a few backing vocals, but that's it. The album reached number 2 in the UK album charts and was ranked the greatest live album of all time by Classic Rock magazine. Okay. So Robertson departed. Robertson plays on this despite the previous bust-up. So he leaves in 1978.
Okay.
So then Gary Moore returns. So
I have 2.
Okay, you have 2. I have
one bought in Akkord in Denmark.
Okay. Where the fuck is mine?
One is bought here in Iceland. Okay.
We'll look at yours. We don't have to look at mine. I'm sure mine is the same.
Same. Let me see. Inlay. Are those the same? Well, yeah. Same.
Okay.
Same inlay. I mean, I'm gonna say this is the best album.
Yeah. Let's look at the track list then.
I mean, so this is what, 79, 77, 79, 79.
So here's the problem, right? Okay, do you want to do Stone Cold Classic, Toughest Street in Town, good. S&M, I don't think S&M is a great song.
Waiting for an Alibi.
Classic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sarah is not the best song here.
Forget it. That's a cocaine idea. That's just like nobody wants to hear about how much you love your daughter or your son.
No. I mean, exactly.
Get out of here.
Got to Give It Up.
Yeah.
One of the best songs.
Yeah. Get out of here.
Get Out of Here. I love it. With Love. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing song.
Roisin Dub.
Rosin. What do you call this? Rosin Dubba. Black Rose.
Yeah.
Rosin Dub. Amazing song.
Yeah. I to be honest with you, I think I prefer Jailbreak to this record.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'll have to call it even. I'm sorry, but they're just really. It's funny because I have. So I'm gonna take you a little bit back here. So this album here, see,
Yeah.
this takes me. You've been to Iceland a few times. You've been to
Yeah.
the Eistnaflug Festival,
Yeah.
right?
This does look a bit
Yeah.
Icelandic. All right.
So no, sorry. So when I was driving there
Oh yeah.
once, it's an 8-hour drive. I listened to this album. It's the only CD I listened to for 8 hours.
Really? Wow.
There and to the back. So this takes me driving 8 hours to the East Fjords of Iceland, right? So this is in my fucking DNA. So
Okay.
see this apartment that I'm in here? You've been to my apartment, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So in 2003, I bought this apartment in 2003.
Yeah.
So when I'm painting it by myself
Yeah.
for a few days, this is the only CD I listen to
Okay.
for a few days. So these two albums are in my fucking DNA. So it's they're special to me.
I painted my grandmother's house once, only listening to Third of the Mortal. But there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But I mean, so I get it. Sometimes we have favorites for those particular other reasons that aren't normal reasons.
Yeah. But then again, this is of course Gary Moore.
Yeah.
And the classic Thin Lizzy lead. I mean, Brian Robertson was great, but I mean, have you seen Gary Moore live in Sydney? The video?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. He's on.
That motherfucker.
He's on another level, really.
Yeah. And it's just, I'm like, how the fuck can he do that? And I think that video, and it's not even Brian Downey on drums. It's weird. It's the guest guy,
isn't it? No,
it's some replacement guy.
Oh.
But the band in that form, I think it's 78.
Yeah, 78, 79.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's fucking brilliant.
Incredible gig by a band.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. So getting Gary Moore from the band, I mean, sure, a couple of songs can make an album, but I think Waiting for an Alibi, Got to Give It Up, is what makes this close to the greatest. Yeah.
So, well, I would pick, for now, I would still pick Jailbreak as my favorite.
Yeah.
So hang on, let's move on to Chinatown. Have you got Chinatown and vinyl there? I can't find it.
Yeah, I have it here.
Okay, let's look at
Chinatown. So that's I don't know. I think
the title track Chinatown is maybe my favorite Lizzy song of all time.
Yeah. Okay. So we agree for once.
Yeah.
Chinatown. It's even uplifted cover here.
Yeah.
So Chinatown is the best song on this album.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's staggering how fucking good it is. It's maybe my favorite Lizzy song. Maybe my favorite song.
So this is not a good album, though. Sorry.
No, and Brian and Downey on this is just a killer on Chinatown. Yeah, I mean, it's Sugar Blues I could do without. Didn't I?
Yeah.
Hey You.
Okay, Killer on the Loose is good.
Yeah. Oh, Killer on the Loose is fucking classic. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. This is not. I think they're fast. What am I guessing here? Maybe it's too much drugs. Maybe it's too much label pressure. Just the standards aren't as high.
No, I think it's a mixture of both of those things. I think there's an awful lot of there's just some filler songs on here. Having a good time. I mean, sounds like somebody's been touring with Queen. It's kind of like.
Yeah, when you say it, it's very Freddie Mercury having a good time.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Very, very true. But like we both agree, Chinatown. I mean, I play it on the radio at work, and I just say, I introduce the song like, kids, this is how you make a fucking rock song with guitar solos, because it's like blueprint, rock and roll iconic song.
It's absolutely incredible. It's one of the fucking.
So we agree. I'm gonna make a bold statement here. Without title track, it's a bad album.
Yeah, without the title track, this is Thin Lizzy's Fly on the Wall or something.
I was gonna say For Those About to Rock, because if you remove that title track, it's For Those About to Rock. It's not a good album.
Fair.
Okay.
I'll roll with
so
that.
We agree, Averill. How weird.
Yeah, I know. So, but then you get to the 1980s has started now, so the things are changing. Like, you've got now Maiden and Priest, and heavy metal is sort of kicking off. I don't know. Should I bother finding
It,
my copies of
it's
Renegade and
it's
Underwriting?
it's funny because we're still 2 years away from Metallica.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's not even the idea of Metallica and Slayer are not there yet.
No. Well, I think Renegade, the next album, is better than Chinatown, without a doubt. Do I have to
Yeah,
do I have to go and look for my records now as well? You keep talking.
they have no, it's just badly injured. Nothing special here. Nothing special.
Keep talking.
I might keep talking here. Well, for once, they don't have. They skipped Jim Fitzpatrick. So I wonder, does the Wikipedia tell us why they ditched Fitzpatrick?
No.
Too much cocaine, maybe.
Yeah. What have you got on the inside of yours?
Nothing.
I like
nothing.
I have a.
No, there's nothing here.
This is pretty cool. I like the band photos with the flag. They look cool as fuck.
Yeah. It's a bit Soviet.
Yeah. So the thing that gets me about this record, right? I mean, fucking hell, you can't see the song.
But okay, sorry for the obvious thing here. In comes Snowy White.
Yeah, which is weird.
Where does he come from again?
He came from. Did he come from Grand Slam or something? Renegade. Chinatown, blah blah blah. October 1980. Chris Sangarides. Wow, Chris Sangarides produced the record. Okay.
He did Anvil as well, right?
Yeah. So, Greatest Hits album 81. Come on, where's?
Sorry, who is Wharton?
Darren
co-wrote.
Darren Wharton is the keyboard player. Okay,
the keyboard player.
Yeah. Okay, Lynnett's second album, the Phil Lynnett's album, was delayed until 82. Renegade was completed and released in November 81. Renegade was not successful, only reaching 38 in the UK and 157 in the US. The only two singles, Hollywood Down on Your Luck, flopped. Wow, that was the single. Only 2 songs on the album were written solely by Lynnett. Interesting. With the other members of the band contributing more to the compositions. Now we can probably gather why that's true. I mean,
did you say only 2?
Only 2.
Well, it says here 3. That's weird. Okay.
Okay. So, I would say Fats is fucking rubbish. Mexican Blood is also. This is a bad song.
This is not in my top 3. I'm sorry.
No, the song "Angel of Death" is fucking brilliant.
Angel of Death, a great song. I agree. Alan, this is almost like Chinatown. I'm sorry. Sorry to break it to you.
You know, you're right. It's a lot of drugs gone into this record, I think. A lot of heroin, I would imagine.
Heroin was his thing. I mean, he was a proper druggie. He would do it all. But he was into heroin. That's usually the last drug you start taking when you're into heroin.
Yeah, I think so. And I think Pressure Will Blow is a good song. No one told him. Yeah, I'm going to say side 2 of this is maybe the worst side of the Living record. You know?
But, we have to take into consideration a lot of shit has gone down here. Yeah. A lot of tour canceling.
Yeah.
Because we are close to the end here.
Yeah.
So a lot of bad things and disappointments have been going on. They will not see the curve is not going up here.
No.
It's going down, but I have to give them that. They do go out with a bang.
Okay, let's get to Thunder and Lightning then.
Yeah, so Thunder and Lightning is a way better album.
Yeah, I only have the CD, so you show us your record.
No, I only have a live one here.
Okay.
Collection, Rocker.
Okay.
I don't have it on. I have it the CD somewhere.
I must have it on fucking vinyl.
So show me your CD, your beautiful CD.
Thunder and Lightning, it does. You're right. Goes out with a bang. I mean, we've got Cole. This is John Sykes, so it's a heavier, harder record.
Yeah, but okay. So I would say this is the most heavy metal album.
Yeah, without a doubt. Even the cover with the spiked armband and
even Megadeth covered Cold Sweat.
Yeah, I mean, this is the record that when people go, "Oh, Lizzy was never a heavy metal band," you go, "Listen to Thunder and Lightning."
Yeah. This is heavy metal.
Yeah,
And arguably, funny, same year as Kill 'Em All comes out.
yeah, but it's still got some bangers on it. It's not just only about the title track. Sun Goes Down is brilliant.
Sun Goes Down is on among the best songs ever.
Yeah,
It's an amazing song.
yeah, and the Holy War, good. Cold Sweat, come on, now this
I
is
love Cold Sweat.
Stone Cold.
Love
One of the greatest guitar tones ever. Like it's
Yeah.
like Sykes fucking hold them up by the scruff of their neck a bit. I think.
Yeah, yeah. This, I mean, this, you know, like we said, Renegade, Chinatown, they're being held up by one good song,
Yeah.
great song, great song. But there's more here.
Baby, Please Don't Go. Someday she's gonna hit back. Yeah.
Why did they write the song "Baby Please Don't Go"? I mean,
Yeah, it
Alan.
doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Bad Habits. Okay. Yeah. Heart Attack. I mean, yeah, Heart Attack's all right.
I mean, okay. Write the song called "Bad Habits," heroin, heart attack, cocaine.
Yeah.
I mean,
and also Queen have sheer heart attack. It's a bit.
yeah.
Like, come on, guys.
Well, we do know that, like you said, having a good time. We do know that when you tour with bands, you will get influenced with them.
Yeah, but there's an amazing picture somewhere of like Bon Scott, Freddie Mercury, and fucking Phil just like standing backstage somewhere in '78. Like fucking hell, you know.
Fucking hell.
But this is to go out with as a record. This is a solid exit. Like it's a really. Then the band split up, and he goes to London and seems to basically just sort of run himself into the ground with drugs, and then dies in '86.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Coram who said it. The last tour of Brian Downey. They landed at Heathrow or something, and they just took their suitcases and went into different taxis, and that was it. That was it.
Yeah. I've done that on tours as well, though.
But I haven't broken up the band though.
No, and gone off to take heroin. Yeah, no, I mean, I remember when he died in '86. I came home from school, and my mother and her sisters were sitting at the kitchen table drinking whiskey, and they were just like, feeling it's dead. They were like all fucking heartbroken, and they were at the funeral, and like so. I mean, he was just this huge beloved character, even though he was living in London and been back and forward, but he was just so indelibly part of Dublin, part of Irish musical culture, you know. But by the end, people were saying, I mean, you read the reports of people who were like calling around to his flat, and he just had like dealers there, and the place was a mess, and proper going down the level to like sort of, you know, junkie territory, you know.
So this comes out '83.
Yeah,
I mean, he dies early '86, so he has like 2 years of being unemployed from Thin Lizzy.
Yeah.
And at that time, he does 2 solo albums.
Yeah.
And there's some projects he's doing with Mark Knopfler.
Yeah, he does one. He does Adrian Vandenberg. Sorry, John Sykes. Okay, member of Tank. I'm trying to catch up here. Yeah, he had Grand Slam at the end of '83. They couldn't.
Who was in that? What was that again? Was that the Mark Knopfler thing?
No. Well, he has Out in the Fields with Gary Moore in May '85. That's like the last thing he does, you know. And then it's his last single, 19. Yeah, okay.
Something King's Revenge or King's, what is it with Mark Knopfler that I'm thinking about?
I think you're thinking of something different. There's not a mention of his name here. So he died in Salisbury, Wiltshire, 4th of January 1986, aged 36, from internal abscesses, pneumonia, and septicemia brought on by his drug dependency. Fucking hell. Multiple organ failure. Jesus. That's fucking just some heavy...
Here it is, sorry. King's Call. Fill in it with Mark Knopfler.
Okay, the King's Call. I think...
sorry, it's from Solo and Soho. Yeah, okay, sorry.
Okay, Out in the Fields is like the last gasp musically, I think, really, you know?
Okay.
Less than a minute. Upgrade now. This is going to cut off now in a minute.